Hey, awesomes. Right 1060 students. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a really pleasant Labor Day weekend. So kind of do a little review, hoping in 1050. For those of you, I know those of you at least who had my class, we talked a lot about rhetoric, about logical fallacies, talked about the rhetorical triangle, ethos, pathos, logos. We talked about the rhetorical situation, rhetorical contexts. That within a context, you have a speaker, you have a purpose, and you have an audience, right? And so, as we approach our, even though we're going to do this collaboratively this semester, right? Um, your research proposal, your progress report memo, as well as your report. Each of these have a purpose and an audience, and they have you as speakers, right? You can have a group of speakers, right? A team of speakers, but regardless of what the speakers are doing, they need to really be considering two things: purpose and audience. What is it that you're trying to convey? Because rhetoric is all about meaning making. It's about paying attention to a lot of times the finer details, why this situation is here, who am I trying to convince? Who am I trying to appeal to? What do I need to appeal to them because of who they are? Right? We might think of what's their education level? What are they interested in? What's the makeup? Right? Older, younger, middle aged? What kind of things are they into or not into? We think about if we ever use samples or if we're going to use examples, or even if we pick a topic and we know we're writing to a very specific audience. It helps us in our research, helps us in maybe even the things that we're going to say, how we're going to say things, really thinking about our audience. And what I'm really speaking of, is this down here? All right, we have this context, right? The rhetor, that is the author or authors, it's you and your team, right? Writing this research proposal, leading up to this research report, right? Your purpose is going to be to research this thing, right? Come up with some potential solutions, make some recommendations to a very specific audience. And you think about, okay, when even making those recommendations, what are the things we need to consider with our language in far as making that meaningful to that particular audience, right? We got to really think about our purpose and our audience and how those two kind of go together within this context. So when I was speaking earlier about how rhetoric is more than just trying to persuade somebody, it's more than just trying to use flowery language or to impress somebody or to get somebody to do something or make a sale. Rhetoric can be much more subtler, right? Even simpler than that. When someone writes an office memo, it's rhetoric. When a newspaper offers their opinion, when you send a text message, when you reply to an email, anytime that you are communicating and you are conveying meaning, you're using rhetoric. And that's what rhetoric is, the purpose of this class. And I think for most rhetoricians nowadays, it's the process, the study of how we think about meaning making. How is meaning made? And how does that meaning that we make from it through language, through symbol use, through visuals, how do those things affect us as a human being race, as a species, made up of different languages, right? Different ways that we interpret language, different ways that we interpret visuals, even, right? Some things connect, excuse me, some things don't with people. So that's a lot of times we think about the purpose and the audience. Are we, sometimes you see a commercial and you're like, that commercial's not for me. It probably isn't. So by way of friendly reminder, logos, pathos, and logos, pathos, and ethos. Logos is that appeal to logic, that appeal to reason. Pathos are those emotional appeals. Ethos is the credibility of the speaker. Do they maintain their credibility throughout as they are presenting their information, whether it's speaking or whether it's in writing? These types of things. So we got to think about those as we put together our research proposals, as we put together our research, as we're performing research, even, right? If we get a chance to do much primary research, but if we were doing primary research, are we getting our meaning across? And we put our entire report together and make our recommendations toward the end of the semester. Are we getting our purpose across, and are we getting it across to our audience? All right. So it's kind of about rhetoric in a quick nutshell. But so just wanted to remind you of those things. Rhetoric, since we are writing and we are communicating, rhetoric is kind of will always be around us, and we'll always kind of be dealing with that. And I'll be asking you about purpose and audience probably for the rest of the semester. So bear with me. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Hope you're having a great week. Bye now.